You're having a tough time at work, so you decide to lean in and work nights and weekends. And of course, that just makes everything better and you more productive and your life better. I think a lot of us have been there and know that is not true. And Ginny Campbell has been there, and it inspired her to make some profound changes. Ginny, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about that situation you were in when you were working all the time. What was the situation?
Thanks, Craig. So I had a senior position with a television production company here in Toronto, and I saw my role as I was a problem solver. I put fires out. That's what I did and was really good at. But I saw my job as I had to solve everything. And this led to me working all the time and taking work home in the evenings and weekends and feeling this unbelievable sense of responsibility that it was up to me.
And how did that affect you?
Yeah, so I started to fall into some very familiar patterns that lots of us see ourselves in from time to time. I was not taking care of myself. I was eating a lot of sugary snacks to get through the afternoon. I wasn't sleeping, and I was irritable. I'd be standing, go out to pick up lunch, and I'd be standing at the counter and going, "Oh my gosh, I have to make a decision." Like I was maxed out. I couldn't take on anything else, and it was showing up in all areas of my life that I just wasn't functioning uh, in any sort of healthy way.
And so, what did you do?
So I kind of put the flag in the ground and went, okay, that's enough. We got to figure out a way out of this. This is no way to live. And as we get older, we got to figure out how to manage stress management. So I started talking to people I admired and asked for their input. I started to read and watch webinars. And the thing that really came clear to me was that I thought I had to be in charge of everything. And I came upon this wonderful exercise called the circle of control, where you do a brain dump and you go through that brain dump and you itemize, you check off, is this in my control? For example, world peace or,
Yeah.
solving Corona. It's not. So why am I putting that in my brain and it's taking up valuable space when I could be focusing on something that I could control, such as eating greens, making sure greens were on my plate, making sure I phoned a friend. It just became clear to me that my head was just full of stuff that I didn't have space for, nor could I have any control over.
So, once you came to that moment of illumination, what did you do next?
Well, I started to see that I uh, needed to focus, and that requires, that's a skill that we constantly need to be working on. And Craig, we both come from production, and the production world, television, documentary, it's react, react, react. Somebody's going to call during the day and go, hey, something, the camera's down, location isn't working, the actor's got a headache. Like you have to problem solve, but you're reacting. And it's always like your nerves, like it's nervous energy all day waiting for the next call. I started
Yeah.
breathing. I started doing breathing exercises and going for a walk at lunch and trying to uh, give myself some space.
And what was the result of getting that space? What did that do for you?
Ah, I started to see that I didn't need to be responsible for everything and that I actually didn't need to take on everything, and that I had spent, months and years training and mentoring my colleagues. So I started delegating and letting them shine doing the things that they're great at so that I could focus on the things that I knew I was really good at.
Yeah, you were like Holden Caulfield's dream in Catcher in the Rye when he's trying to catch all the little kids trying to run off the cliff. Um, So you made these adjustments. Work was better. Probably the people you're working with were happier. And that adjustment has led to the career you're in now, coaching with Ginny. What do you do at Coaching with Ginny?
So, similar to my own personal experience, my clients come to me and they're kind of on the precipice of like, screw this, I'm out of here, quit their job and go work at Starbucks. Or they just desperately want to make a change. They just don't know how. So I work with them for typically 3 months to start with, and it's about calming down the body, regulating, focusing on their strengths instead of constantly living in the world of criticism and zooming in on all the things they're not good at. I'm all about what is it that you are good at and that you actually love doing, and let's move forward from there. So it's shoring up my clients initially, and then they start doing some personal reflection, and I have exercises around that, and they just start to see that there's a different path for them.
And you get to watch people's lives go from the clenched fist into more open and enjoying their lives, and no doubt being better at work too.
Oh yeah, and to be have a whole different perspective and know that their contribution is valuable and that internally they feel confident. Their whole outlook about work changes.
So, Jenny, if people want to come to you and get out of the clenched fist and the working all the time, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, you can email me directly at Ginny, Ginny. I see it's there as a third, lower third, at coachingwithginny.com. You can also check out my website where I tell my story in a little more depth and explain what coaching with me is all about.
Jenny, thank you so much for talking to us about a problem that a lot of people had. I mean, I've certainly been there myself many times. Really appreciate your time, really appreciate your insight, and I know that a lot of people can relate to this.
Thanks. It was great chatting with you.